but she never ate them.
All her friends hated lemon beans and she wanted to fit in. Camilla always worried about what other people thought of her.
Today she was fretting even more than usual. It was the very first day of school and she couldn't decide what to wear. There were so many people to impress.
She tried on 42 outfits, but none seemed quite right. She put on her pretty red dress and looked in the mirror. Then she screamed,
"Ah!" Her mother ran into the room and she screamed too.
"Ah! Oh my heavens, you're completely covered in stripes!" she cried. This was certainly true. Camilla was striped from head to toe. She looked like a rainbow.
Miss Cream felt Camilla's forehead.
"Do you feel alright?" she asked.
"I feel fine, but just look at me," Camilla answered.
"You get back into bed this instant. You're not going to school today," Camilla ordered. Camilla was relieved. She didn't want to miss the first day of school, but she was afraid of what the other kids would say, and she had no idea what to wear with those crazy stripes. That afternoon, Dr. Bumble came to examine Camilla.
"Most extraordinary. I've never seen anything like it. Are you having any coughing, sneezing, itches, pains, sores, hot flashes, dizziness, drowsiness, or uncontrollable twitching?"
He asked.
"No, I feel fine." "Well then, that seems to be why you shouldn't go to school tomorrow. Here's some ointment that should help clean up those stripes in a few days. If it doesn't, you know where to reach me."
Dr. Baum said, turning to Miss Cream and off he went.
The next day was a disaster. Everyone at school laughed at Camilla. They called her
Camilla Can
and
Night of the Living Lollipop. She tried to act as if everything was normal when the class said the Pledge of Allegiance was stripes from red, white, and blue to block out and stops.
the other kids thought this was great. One yelled out,
"Let's see some purple polka dots." Sure enough, Camilla turned all purple polka dots. Some around shouted,
"Checkerboard," and a pattern of squares covered her skin. Soon everyone was calling out different shapes and colors. And poor Camilla was chanting faster than you can change channels on ATV.
That night, Mr. Holmes, the school principal, called. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Green. I'm going to ask you to keep Camilla from school. She's just too much for a distraction. And I've been having phone calls from other parents. They're afraid those stripes might be contagious." Her father tried to make her feel better.
No, thank you.
Sighed Camilla. What you really want to do is nicely align me, but you've been acting up for one thing.
Well, yes, I see. I think you better bring the specialist. We'll be right over,"
said Dr. Bumble to Mr. Cream on the phone. About an hour later, Dr. Bumble arrived with 4 people in long white coats. He introduced them to the Creams.
This is Dr. Broad, Dr. Sponge, Dr. Cricket, and Dr. Young.
Then the specialist went to work on Camilla. They squeezed, jabbed, tapped, and twisted. It was very uncomfortable.
But swarms of
Or the measles.
Isn't it chickenpox? Or sunburn?
Replied the specialist.
Said the specialist, they each returned bottle pills with different front pills. Then they filed out the front. Then they filed out the front door, followed by Dr. Bumble.
That night, Camilla took her medicine. It was awful.
When she woke up the next morning, she did feel different. And when she got dressed, her clothes didn't fit right. She looked in the mirror, and there staring back at her was a giant multicolored pill with her face on it.
Dr. Bumble rushed over as soon as Miss Cream called. But this time, instead of the specialists, he brought the experts.
Dr. Ward and Mr. Mellon, the finest scientific minds in the world. Once again, Camilla was proof part of the book and listened to.
The experts wrote down lots and lots of numbers. Then they huddled together and Dr. Ward finally spoke.
It might be a virus. He knows from the authority some little virus boats appeared all over Camilla.
Or some form of bacteria.
Said Mr. Mellon. Out pop up squiggly little bacteria tails.
Or it could be a fungus. As Dr. Ward instantly, Camilla was covered with different colored fungus spots. Experts looked at Camilla, then jumped.
We need to go over these numbers again at the lab. We'll probably notice.
said the experts, but the experts didn't have a clue, much less a cure.
By now the TV news had found out about Camilla. Reporters from every channel were outside her house.
Where's Stephanie? I'm right here. Our top story tonight, the bizarre case of a incredible changing kid.
Soon a huge crowd was camped out on the front lawn.
The creams were swamped with all kinds of remedies from psychologists, allergists, herpetologists, nutritionists, sidekicks from an old medicine man, a gorilla, and even a veterinarian.
Each so-called cure only added to Camilla's strange appearance until it was even hard to even recognize her. She sprouted roots, berries, crystals, and a long furry cattail.
One day, a woman who called herself an environmental therapist claimed she could cure Camilla.
Close your eyes, breathe deeply from one little room.
I wish you hadn't said that.
Camilla groaned. Slowly, she started to melt into the walls of her room. Her bed became her mouth, her nose was a dresser, and 2 paintings were her eyes. The therapist screamed and ran from the house.
What are we gonna do? It just keeps on getting worse and worse. Trying to scream, she began to sob.
At the moment, Mr. Cream heard a quiet little knock on the door. He opened it, and there stood an old lady who was as plump and sweet as a strawberry. Excuse me, I think I can help.
She said brightly.
She went into Camilla's room and looked around. My goodness, what we have here is a bad case of the stripes. One of the worst I've ever seen. She said with a shake of her head. She pulled a container of small green beans from her bag. She said, here, these my favorite.
Are those magic beans? As Miss Cream, the old woman replied.
Oh my, no, there's no such thing. These are as real as it. I'll bet you like some. She asked Camilla. Camilla wanted a big heaping plate full of lima beans, more than just about anything. But Camilla was still afraid to admit it. She said,
Yuck, no likes lima beans, especially me.
oh dear, I guess I was wrong about it. She said sadly, said the old woman sadly. She put the beans back into her bag and started to the door.
Camilla watched the old woman walk away. Those beans would taste so good. And being laughed at for eating them was nothing compared to what she'd been going through. She finally couldn't stand it.
Wait, the truth is, I really love lima beans. She cried. The old woman smiled, popping a handful of lima beans into Camilla's mouth and said, I thought so.
Mmm.
She patted Camilla on the head, said Camilla. Suddenly the branches, feathers, and squiggly tails began to disappear. Then the whole room swirled, where it stopped. There stood Camilla, and everything was back to normal.
I'm cured! She shouted. The old woman said,
Yes, I knew the remedy was in there somewhere. She patted Camilla on the head and went outside and vanished into the crowd. Afterwards, no one had quite the same.
some of the kids at school said she was weird, but she didn't care a bit. She ate all the lima beans she wanted and she never even had a touch of the stripes again. The end.